On June 8, 2025, Red River Unitarian Universalist Church proudly presented a service for Pride entitled Point of Pride, with the worship team leading. Welcome from Red River Unitarian Universalist. Thank you for joining us. The religion we practice in this church is centered in the here and now, rather than the hereafter. It is more of a thinking kind of religion than a believing kind. It is governed more by reason than by tradition, more concerned with the present than the past. It is concerned with getting the most out of life, with living wisely and well. A major aim for us is continually expanding our understanding of life and ourselves. This church is a community of people who share in the free and open search for a level of understanding that will enable us to be more fully and effectively alive. The church does not tell us what we must believe. It stimulates us to think. It supports us in our search. You are welcome to join us. Our centering value is love, with transformation, generosity, equity, interdependence, justice, and pluralism. People sometimes ask, is Pride a protest or a party? And the answer is, of course, yes. And why not? Why not rejoice as we resist, dance as we demand change, celebrate as we create community that delights in all of who we are? So bring all of that with you this morning. Bring your policy demands. Bring your glitter. Bring your Supreme Court broken heart. Bring your rainbow socks. Bring your emptiness you feel for our siblings gone too soon. Bring your Gloria Estefan remix. Bring your tender hope for change. Bring your most garish eyeshadow. Bring your spirit tattered and battered by a world that seems insistent on choosing fear and hate. Gather up all these things and bring them here to a place where we don't have to shoulder these burdens or celebrate these joys alone. Come, let us worship together. As is our custom, if you'd like to come and light a candle for a joy, a challenge, or just to bring more light into this room, please do so while we sit in stillness, listening to the prelude.
Don't be discouraged, though I realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. You can lose sight of it all, and the darkness there inside you makes you feel so small. But I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful like a rainbow.
unhappy, can't remember when I last saw you laughing. If this world makes you crazy and you've taken all you can bear, don't you know you can call me up, because you know I'll be there. And I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. Your true colors are beautiful like a rainbow. Dun, dun, da, 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 dun, da, dun, dun, da, 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 do.
I can't remember when I last heard you laugh. If this world makes you crazy and you've taken all you can bear, you call me up, because you know I'll be there.
And I see your true colors shining through. Your true colors. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are shining through. I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid
To let them show your true colors. Your true colors are beautiful like a rainbow.
Please rise in body or spirit for our chalice lighting and spoken affirmation. Our chalice lighting words today are The Pride Flame by Linda Lee Franson. We light this flame to ignite our hearts and minds, the spark of knowledge that enlightens and shimmering hope that burns, the blazing love that engulfs our actions, the bonfire of our commitment. We light this flame for those who celebrate themselves, who fear, who hope, who persevere, who stand on the side of love for all. We light this flame for those who have been ridiculed, that they may find peace, for those who have fought to marry, that they might celebrate, for those who live in uncertainty in the world, that they may have hope. We light this flame to renew our commitment that no one shall ever again suffer for the right to love. We light this flame to celebrate our kaleidoscope of diversity, working, loving, and living on the side of love. For this, we light this flame. Join me as together we remind ourselves of the affirmation that is a cornerstone of our free faith tradition. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth and freedom, and to help one another. We light this peace candle to remind us of all the places in the world where there is no peace. Join me in the words now on the screen. Lead me from death to life, from falsehood to truth. Lead me from despair to hope, from fear to trust. Lead me from hate to love, from war to peace. Let peace fill our hearts, our world, our universe. You may be seated. Our opening thought is by Elizabeth Ketchum. May we live the spirit of pride. With gratitude for the freedom to be our true, authentic selves, may we live the spirit of pride. With the courage that comes from challenging fear, may we live the spirit of pride. With sorrow for those who could not be here with us today, and in honor of those who died of AIDS or lost their lives, may we live in the spirit of pride. With grief for those whose pain was unbearable and who left us too soon, may we live the spirit of pride. Looking ahead to the justice still withheld, may we live the spirit of pride. With the confidence that a sense of community banishes isolation and loneliness, may we live the spirit of pride. With the rainbow flag flying high, a sense of beloved community among us, and the joy that comes from making new connections, may we live the spirit of pride. What is pride? Where did it start? Why is it still needed? We will now watch 3 short videos which illustrate the history of pride and why it's still important. Our first video is New Rainbow History Project, and it's an exhibit that chronicles gay pride history in Washington, D.C. Our second one, How the Stonewall Riots Sparked a Movement. And our third one, Why We Still Need Pride.
There is a lot to celebrate as DC is front and center. It's also a time to reflect and learn. There's a new exhibit at Freedom Plaza right now that highlights the history of LGBTQ plus pride in our city.
Our Matthew Torres shows us the district's impact on the gay rights movement.
If colors are meant to be vibrant, Vincent Slatt is the human form.
This is it. I love this.
His zeal for this year's World Pride isn't just for the colors in the flag.
So excited. I have not slept in weeks.
But the diversity in history that got him and the LGBTQ plus community here.
People might think of history as the story of old people having done stuff, but what we learned from this is that this exhibit is actually for people who never saw themselves in history.
In between the White House and the Capitol, a new exhibit at Freedom Plaza now stands. The organization Rainbow History Project just unveiled pickets, protests, and parades, the history of gay pride in Washington. Slatt is the senior curator.
We have broken down pride into 10 themes. On the history over the last 60 years, each theme will have its own special exhibit.
The highlights go back to where it all started.
The truth is, pride didn't start at Stonewall, and the Stonewall Uprising was not the start of the modern gay rights movement. It was 10 Washington homosexuals picketing the White House.
We could not conceive then of the astonishing progress that we would make in the last 60 years.
Paul Kunstler is the last surviving picketer from 1965, reenacting the picket outside the White House with the Rainbow History Project on the 60th anniversary last month.
We are seeking our human dignity, our equality, and our acceptance as the homosexuals that we are and have a right to be.
The original picket was an act of solidarity and protest over the mistreatment of gay people in government and classification of homosexuality as a mental illness.
I think it's important to always be vigilant about one's self-interest and the interest of the larger community. You can never assume that everything will always be remain.
Organizers say what happened then helped lead to this. An example of pride unabashed. The popular high heel race on 17th Street Northwest continues every year since 25 drag queens first ran down the street in 1986.
Thank you. Hi, how are you?
At the corner of where the race starts is 350 Bakery and Coffee Bar.
Thank you. Have a good day.
That meant so much to be like right at the heart of the intersection of where everything's always happened, where the Pride Parade, the festival. We've always been involved and come to the high heel race, and now it's very exciting because it starts right in front of our bakery.
The history of the high heel race is also part of the exhibit, meant to reflect and educate. A display of knowledge for a community vibrant in colors and history.
We do have a heritage, right? LGBT people might not inherit our history and culture from our families like other minority groups do, but this is going to be a way, especially for our kids, to connect to the fact that they're a part of a much larger movement of people.
Matthew Torres, WUSA 9.
I love what the guy Paul said there. You can never assume that everything will always remain. That's why pride is so important.
It is.
In the early morning hours of June 28, 1969, a riot broke out in front of the Stonewall Inn in New York City. The violent protest became known as the Stonewall Riots. The Stonewall Riots were a watershed moment in the gay rights movement, sparking activism and awareness across the United States. We'll look at the roots of the riots, the events, and their lasting impact. In the 1950s and 60s, homosexuality was still considered sodomy and illegal in 49 states. The punishments varied greatly by state, ranging from heavy fines to imprisonment. In society, members of the gay community were often subject to violence, harassment, and discrimination. In New York City, gay bars were havens for people with diverse sexual orientations and gender identities, places where they could avoid harassment and violence. The Stonewall Inn served as a popular refuge. The Stonewall Inn was owned by the mafia. The mafia bribed the police to look the other way. In turn, the mafia made money overcharging patrons for drinks. Even so, the patrons were not fully safe from homophobia and discrimination. The mafia would extort wealthy patrons, threatening to out them to their employers and families. Despite the mafia's bribes, the police still regularly raided the Stonewall Inn and other gay bars, charging them with solicitation of homosexual relations. Trans and other gender nonconforming people were also targeted, subjected to violence, and arrested if they weren't wearing what the police deemed gender-appropriate clothing. This oppression and mistreatment came to a head in the early morning hours of June 28, 1969. 9 police officers entered the Stonewall Inn in a raid. The patrons were fed up. As the police roughly tried to arrest bartenders and customers, many resisted. Outside the bar, people in the hundreds began rioting. They threw bottles at the police and pushed through the barricades. The police officers retreated from the crowd and locked themselves inside the Stonewall Inn. Rioters responded by setting the bar on fire. Police reinforcement arrived, and the original officers managed to get out of the burning bar. Meanwhile, the angry mob had grown into thousands. Eventually, the police were able to get the crowd to disperse, but it didn't last long. The riots continued until July 1st. While some criticized the violent and destructive riots, others pointed to the brutality and unjust treatment of the gay community. This large-scale defiance made a massive impact on society. The Stonewall Riots were the beginning of the modern gay liberation movement, which also brought attention to others marginalized for their sexual or gender orientation. The riots sparked the formation of the Gay Liberation Front, the first group to publicly advocate for equal gay rights. On the 1-year anniversary of the riots, they also organized the first Gay Pride Parade. Today, Pride events are still held on the anniversary of the Stonewall Riots in cities around the country and even the world. In 2016, President Obama made the Stonewall Inn and the area outside where the riots broke out a national monument. This became the first national monument celebrating gay history. The Stonewall Riots may have been violent, But they marked a pivotal moment in history. No longer would people quietly endure the stigma associated with their sexual and gender orientations. Through the Stonewall riots, the gay rights movement gained mainstream visibility and a momentum that continues to this day.
Hello YouTube, this is VidHead85 and thank you so much for joining me for this episode here today. I am going to read off, there is a wonderful article, Why Do We Still Need Pride Month? And it's written by Carl Spalding, originally published in Be the Change. It was from July of 2024, so we're going to kick it off. Every year, June takes on a new form of Pride Month celebrations as times, attitudes, political landscape, and LGBTQ plus people themselves change. This year, for many, it served as a reminder that securing a full, safe, and welcoming place for queer people is far from over. As we enter peak turbulence of an election year in the United States, culture wars, trans people's very existence, and LGBTQ plus livelihood increasingly become political talking points, while misinformation spreads and attempts to excite and scare voters. Seemingly more so than in other years, Pride Month discourse has peaked, from kink at Pride to bi women bringing their straight boyfriends to Jon Stewart's take on corporate morality. The discourse is discoursing. Chronically online discussions aside, I'm reminded about the purpose of Pride Month is also an ever-changing concept. A well-meaning friend recently asked me why we still need Pride Month. His intention was likely from a "we've come so far" attitude. Still, it got me thinking about how folks perceive pride across various spectrums, political, theological, or otherwise. Living in Denver, Colorado, I'm just as likely to overhear someone ask when straight pride is. Oh boy. And as I am to hear someone celebrate the movement's progress and wonder what they can still do. At the end of the day, our community's progress is still fairly new and in danger of being reversed. I've only been able to get married for about 10 years, which is around a third of my life. For a significant portion of my life, I was told marriage literally wasn't for me. And even now, today's Supreme Court has shown they aren't opposed to rolling back individual rights and overturning long-standing legal decisions. So why do we still need Pride Month? To remember what Pride Month was and is a justice movement. Many folks lament pride parades and events have lost sight of the riotous beginnings of the LGBTQ plus movement, and rightfully so. More and more companies pink or rainbow wash when it serves their bottom line, benefiting from the appearance of supporting the LGBTQ plus community without taking meaningful action to actually support rights and causes. Even when participating in allyship, dominant social groups risk co-opting and erasing history. The LGBT plus community needs corporate support as cis straight allyship to continue and broaden the momentum of the original riot the Pride was, to better know and honor our neighbors and friends. An estimated 14 to 20 million people live in the U.S. are LGBTQ plus. That's between 5.5 and 8% of the adult population. And even still, there are some might be underestimates, as some individuals may not disclose their identity in surveys for various reasons. Greater visibility and acceptance of queer identities have led to more folks feeling safe coming out. The simple act of being aware of, and support of, and willing to honor Pride Month in queer communities carries more impact than you might realize. Another reason, to symbolically respond to prejudiced attacks. Political fueled and endorsed attacks like the Colorado Republican Party sending out an official call to burn all pride flags aren't new and aren't going away. The ACLU is tracking over 100 bills attacking transgender people in state legislatures. So when a call to burn pride flags might seem dramatic but innocuous, it plants a seed that grows into a more institutional and direct attack on queer communities, telling extremists that their dangerous and violent views are not only supported, but endorsed. Another reason, to keep the conversation going, especially in our online world. A simple and effective way to remember why we still need Pride Month exists in the comment section of any official social media account. Look at the Instagram comments on Pride posts from your favorite brand or organization. The odds are pretty high that there will be calls to unfollow, cries that the group has gone woke, and queer people expressing gratitude on equal ground. Now, social media might seem like an increasingly superficial space for meaningful discourse, but it carries more weight than you think. The fact remains that June can both feel like a validating and terrifying serving as a reminder that many people don't condone our very existence. So what's the state of affairs of LGBTQ folk in the U.S.? So as of June 2024, ACLU is tracking more than 520 anti-queer bills in the U.S. Violence against queer people is on the rise. Queer people still face discrimination amongst many systems, including employment, housing, and healthcare. 41% of queer adults aged 45 or older worry about having to hide their queer identity to access housing for older adults. States restrict access to education, sports, LGBTQ plus history, particularly in the South, despite having the highest percentage of queer people. June last year, the Human Rights HRC declared a state of emergency for queer Americans for the first time in 2023. Trans people of color are increasingly the focus of the above. A trans person is 4 more likely than a cisgender person to be victim of a violent crime. So how can we take what action can we take for each Pride Month and beyond? Localize your efforts and tune into anti-LGBT legislation in your area. The Equality Federation is a great place to start. Create a workplace of culture and belonging, from mental health resources to purposeful representation and policies within the company. Support and uplift local thought leaders and LGBTQ plus owned companies. The LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce and B Labs directory can help. And if you're in the United States, vote like the future of the Supreme Court depends on it. Of course, I sure did. And perhaps most importantly, make your support for the queer community visible year-round. We exist outside of June, and our victories and challenges do as well. So thank you so much for joining me for this. I believe that there are so many people out here who refuse to, quote, they don't agree with the lifestyle, so they want to publicly erase individuals like myself from the public sphere, and they will not stop. And I'm not going away either. We will not go away. We have been here forever. All right, see you soon. Have a great day.
Join now for our time of practices with words, stillness, and music. Our words are from Everybody's In by Lori Walk. Gracious God, is it the glitter? Some people think it's the glitter that makes the Pride Parade like heaven. Pearly gates and streets of gold. Surely heaven has as much glitter as Pride Parade. There's definitely enough glitter there to make a person believe that the Pride Parade is like heaven. Some people, of course, do not think the Pride Parade is like heaven. After all, who would let all these people in? Surely there's some kind of form to fill out. One must be given clearance and at least abide by a dress code. Speaking of, what is the dress code for heaven? What documentation is required? Of course, this is the strongest argument that the kingdom of heaven is like the Pride Parade. All are welcome. We don't get to decide who is in and who is out. Everybody's in. Everybody. Or maybe it's that the kingdom of heaven is like the Pride Parade. because it is a protest against bigotry, against hate, against fear. A protest against being someone you aren't, against the idea that only some of us are worthy. A protest against anything that does not lift up love. That's quite the parable, isn't it? The kingdom of heaven is like the Pride Parade, where all are welcome and love wins. We'll know it by the glitter and the love. Thanks be to God. Amen. Please join me in a minute of silence.
We will now have an adapted ritual for Pride. It is called For Pride and was first published in Blessing It All. It was written by Hannah Roberts Villeneuve, Kayla Parker, and Caitlin Cotter Kohlberg. Welcome to our Pride Blessing at Red River Unitarian Universalist Church. Whether you've been here before or not, welcome. Whether you are a member of the LGBTQ+ community or an ally, welcome. Here, we'll share some words and music together, and then we'll have an opportunity for you to receive a glitter blessing. Yes. However you name and understand the divine, you are welcome in this community of precious, powerful LGBTQ+ siblings and allies. Let us sing together, How Could Anyone?
Tell you, you are anything less
Please join us in a litany of blessing. Your response will be, "We are precious and we are powerful." It is on the screen as a reminder. So. It is on the screen as a reminder, so let's try that now. We are precious and we are powerful. We come from fierce freedom fighters, from the survivors and the dead of the HIV crisis, who organized and fought for their lives. From the black kings and queens who ruled the ballroom, who insisted we dance even amidst death and devastation. From these ancestors, we learn we are precious and we are powerful. With the tender-hearted butches and the powerful femmes, with the strong twinks and the soft bears, with all the complexities that live within each of us, we know that we are whole just as we are. We are precious and we are powerful. From the Black Dykes, the trans Chicana sisters, the Boricua boys, and every other sibling who is told they can't bring their full self to the queer community, from them we learn we are precious and we are powerful. To the elders who've seen it all, to those with one toe out of the closet, to those who are still in it, to those who tore down the closet altogether, we say, we are precious and we are powerful. In the face of hatred, in the faces of those who deny our wholeness, we root ourselves in the truth we know. We are precious and we are powerful. From the dance floor to the Capitol Rotunda, from our kitchen tables to the White House, from jail cells to classrooms to pulpits, whether whispered or shouted, we will and do proclaim, we are precious and we are powerful. Today, we offer a glitter blessing, a recognition of the sacred beauty inherent in every person. Glitter has long been a symbol for the LGBTQ+ movement, of gritty, sparkly hope in the face of prejudice and oppression, of joy and pride in the face of hatred and bigotry. Glitter is resilient and tenacious. The briefest beam of sunlight causes it to shine out even in the dustiest and dreariest of spaces, and its beauty comes from its brokenness. Glitter sparkles because it is many different broken pieces coming together, changing in every moment as the light changes. This glitter that we share with each other today is a reminder that each of us is beautiful in our own sacred imperfection, our ever-changing selves, our glorious plurality. As we play some music, you are invited to come forward, show us where on your face, neck, arm, or hand you would like to receive your glitter blessing, and then circle back to your seat. If you cannot come forward today and wish to receive this blessing, please raise your hand and one of us will come to you. Remember, this is glue, so it will stay sticky for a while. So keep that in mind. I invite you to pause with me as we come to the close of this ritual. Look around at all the beautiful, shining faces that surround you, at the amazing thing that is our blessed bodies gathered in this sacred space together. Everybody in this space and beyond it is a holy thing, every person a sacred being made of stardust. Take a moment now just to marvel at how extra glittery we are today, how fabulous we are. Yes. Remember that every offering is a Share the Bowl offering, where undesignated cash is given to the charities we support. The bowl awaits, or you may donate online. And following the offering, let us sing once more together, How Could Anyone? I invite you to rise in body or spirit for the closing thought and extinguishing the chalice. As we go forth, I offer you this final blessing. May you receive and reflect love everywhere you go, and know in your deepest heart and in every day you matter and you belong. May you hold on to hope and your inner sparkle even when discouragement and despair beckon. May the beauty that is you shine out bright as the stars from which we came and to which we will return. Together may we make this a place of welcome and healing, of connection and plurality. Together may we practice compassion and courage, seeing and celebrating and supporting each other. Together may we be the sparkling force of love that our world needs. Blessed by this community and by the divine, go forth and celebrate with pride. Please join me in saying the words to extinguish our chalice. We extinguish these flames, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go in peace, return in love.
Terrific. Thank you so much.